Right, in last week's budget, the Chancellor announced a new tax-free childcare scheme to be rolled out across England from next month, with the government topping up the cost and self-employed parents eligible for the very first time.
So how does this work alongside childcare tax credits and the existing vouchers scheme? Martin Lewis is here to explain. Martin, explain.
OK, first thing to say, when we're talking childcare, we are talking Ofsted or equivalent registered childcare. It could be nannies, nurseries, childminders, but they must be Ofsted registered for what we're talking about. First thing, so I'm going to go in order of the different things available. First thing available is they've also said that in England, from this September, the amount of free childcare available for 3- and 4-year-olds will be increased to 30 hours a week. Now, it's worth saying you only get 38 hours a week. Of that, it's currently 15 hours. It does differ in different parts of the UK, so that aren't in England, so I've put some details of that on the website. But the only people who get the 30 hours a week, you have to be working, and if you're a couple, both working at least 16 hours a week, and you can't have one of you earning over £100,000. So it applies to a lot of people, but it doesn't apply to everyone. Of course, there are many nurseries who are up in arms about this, saying they're not being paid enough and they're going to have to ask parents either to top up or charge other parents more to cover it. So that is not without controversy, but that's meant to be starting from September. I'll move on to the next bit before we get on to the meat. Everything else I'm going to talk about from now on is about paid-for childcare. OK, so that includes childcare tax credit, which is really called the childcare element of working tax credit. And here's my rule of thumb on this. If you work more than 16 hours a week, or you're a couple and you both work more than 16 hours a week, you pay for childcare and your combined family earnings are less than £40,000 a year, you should definitely check out whether you are eligible for childcare tax credits. I am not saying you are eligible.
But you may
I'm
well
saying
be.
that's the circumstances in which it's good to check it out. Now, the average payout on childcare tax credits is £3,000 a year.
Right, wow.
So it is really worth calling up the tax credit helpline and asking if you're eligible. You might not be. I'm not saying if you fulfil all my checks, you will be. People always get annoyed with me about that. I'm just saying you should be checking at that point. If you are eligible for childcare tax credits, do that one. Don't do anything else I'm about to talk about, because with tax-free childcare, you can't have it as well as childcare tax credits.
And that starts next month?
No, that's been going for years. I'm on the stuff you have to look at before we do the new ones.
Oh, fine. OK, right.
So those are the two. Right. Now...
New ones.
Before I do the new one, and this is why it's complicated, you've got to do childcare vouchers, which have been going for a few years. This is the existing scheme. Now, childcare vouchers are only available from your employer if they offer them. So many self-employed and employed people can't get them. And what this means is anybody who works for a company, you would trade in salary. So you would say, I'm going to drop my salary by £1,000 and you're going to give me £1,000 of childcare vouchers. But of course, if you drop your salary by £1,000 and you're a basic rate taxpayer, you're only losing £700 from your pay packet after tax and national insurance. But you're getting £1,000 worth of vouchers. So you're effectively £300 per £1,000 better off. That's the existing scheme. Now, to get that scheme, if you're not in it already, you have to sign up by April 2018, because it's being replaced by the new scheme. You with me now?
I'm with you,
OK, that's called tax-free childcare. It works like this. For every 80p you put in a special account that will be run by NS&I, and details are still scant on this, which is outrageous when it's launching next week. I can't get the Treasury to tell me. I'm giving you what I know. So some of this has got a bit of a brackets around it. For every 80p you put in a special account, the government will top up 20p on top, up to a maximum £2,000. So you put 8,000 in, they put 2,000 on top per child. So that's £2,000 free per child. To get it, you must be working more than 16 hours a week, or if you're a couple, both working more than 16 hours a week and earn less than £100,000. Now, self-employed will be able to get it for the first time. So should you be with the tax-free childcare or childcare vouchers? All this detail's on the website if I'm going too quickly for you. I've written it all down in a lot of detail for you. The basic answer is tax-free childcare is much more generous. It's up to £2,000 per child, whereas childcare vouchers are about £900 per parent.
So this is good news.
This is good news, except childcare vouchers you can get if only one of you is working, right? Tax-free childcare, you both need to be working, so there's an eligibility question. And if you've only got smaller childcare costs, childcare vouchers is actually more generous. It's a 32% discount. Tax-free childcare is a 20% discount. So basically, the more kids you've got and the bigger your childcare costs, if you're eligible for both, the more you should go for tax-free childcare. The smaller your costs and the less kids you've got, the more you should be looking at childcare vouchers. It's all on the website. Do read it. This is big, but you need to be acting now and sorting out what's going on now.
All right. Thank you.
And it starts rolling out from next month. It doesn't happen next month.